What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Brandon Trax Hyatt. We're coming to you on a very brisk, cool, cold Tuesday morning in downtown Chicago area. And basically what we're going to do is just going to break down a little bit of the Waldron effect, what's going to happen now. Everybody's kind of wondering what's going to happen with that and what in the aspect of who we're going to keep, who we're going to move on, so we're just going to kind of have some ideas. We've got a guy coming out. We've had him before. You know him. He's a local legend, world known, famous coach. We're very excited to have him on here. He's had a lot of famous people that have moved on and been very successful in football. Really great coach in the local area. Like I said, a local legend. But first, let's get into the nuts and bolts really quick of what's going on here. So, we had quite a few people that we were looking at, the Bears being 10 contestants. One of them actually got blocked by the Chargers, Kellen, and that they can do that, by the way, whenever it's a lateral move and you're looking at a coordinator and you're asking him to come interview you laterally. So it'd be offensive coordinator for offensive coordinator. That team said Team Chargers said no. So they said, okay, well, we got to go ahead and look at what we've got here. And they chose Shane Waldron. Now, Waldron had already had a couple interviews lined up. They were getting a little nervous. Do we do round two or do we seal the deal? They went ahead and sealed the deal. Right now they're working on finalizing that contract with Shane Waldron, the next OC. And Waldron is the Bears. What they get in Waldron is they get an experienced play caller who comes from the Shanahan tree. He has experience working with a variety of different quarterbacks, from Jared Goff all the way to Geno Smith. As before we get a little bit more into it, let's go ahead and bring on our special guest, Coach Dave Scarborough. How you doing, Dave?
Hey, I'm doing good, Brandon. How you doing, man? It's good to be back with you.
Yeah, you too, bud. Good. Likewise. So, what's the day in the life of Coach Scarborough lately?
Watching a lot of film on potential guys for the draft. I've been ever since the Waldron news broke. I went back and watched a couple of all 22 games of his to really get a feel for him.
Wow. Hey, how you doing, Cheryl? Bear down. Thanks for joining us, Cheryl. Yeah, you know what? I asked you that question, and I almost was like, matter of fact, I basically knew that's what you would do, because that's what good coaches do, right? Before they blow the whistle, they look at all that film. So
got it. The film never lies.
Yeah, tape never.
It can be misinterpreted, but it never lies.
Yes, actually, you're right about that. And you know what? We try to not lie either, even though as I go on, quite frankly and honestly and blunt, that I don't know anything. That's why I bring other guys on that are smarter than me, so we can kind of digest this and talk about it. So let's, kind of how you doing, keep it moving type show, and let's get right into it.
Hey, I got to tell you something really quick.
What's up, buddy?
I'm not a world-class chef, but I know if the food is good. So you got an opinion. It's okay. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, you look like you've enjoyed a couple meals. So, yeah. So during his year-end press conference, Poles was very excited about Fields, his growth, while noting the rare opportunity the Bears had in owning the number one pick again, back-to-back, now in 24 via the Carolina Panthers, which he absolutely fleeced, right, Dave? Unbelievable,
yes.
Man. You and I do not want to sit down with him and play cards. He would take all of it,
Fleeced. He totally fleeced the Panthers, man. That was sick.
They have to have a new rule or something. Like, I don't know what it would be,
nope.
But like I don't know. It just feels criminal,
There's no rule. There's no rule against being stupid in the National Football League.
Correct. Yes, especially once they go under the hood, because lately that's all that comes out is stupid. But we won't go there. I digress.
Right.
So Eberflus and Pohl said that part of their interview process would be to ask each candidate You know, with how they would design around different skill sets. So basically what that means to me is that, I want you to tell me what you would do with a pocket passer, or what would you do with a versatile, dual threat quarterback. What could you do with either or? And I think that's where the the list of contestants got limited to what how you respond to that potentially. You know what I'm saying? So what are your thoughts on that, Dave?
Well, first of all, the NFL is changing at the quarterback position, as you've seen over the playoffs with Lamar Jackson and guys that are mobile. You got to have a guy who can kind of get out of the pocket and do his own thing off schedule. It's not your daddy's NFL where, Peyton Manning's going to throw for 350 yards. So you look at Lamar Jackson's stat line really quick to touch on this.
Yeah.
Is he had like 120 yards, 150 yards passing, and he had 100 yards rushing, and he was responsible for 4 touchdowns.
Right.
So to me, that's very similar to what you could do with Justin Fields. The film that I watched on Coach Waldron, he really does run a little different version of the Shanahan system. I think that he would, if they're going to keep Justin, which I'm pretty 80% sure they're not going to. I think they're going to take the USC kid. Yeah. But if they keep Justin Fields, I think that they're going to do a lot of moving pocket booting action, a lot of what that group did with RG3 when he was in Washington. And I think that the coaches thought that's what they were getting with Luke Getsy, and it never materialized. So I would think that you would see a lot of boot action. I think they're watching him. The thing that stuck out to me more than anything when I was watching the film on him is that the Seahawks were under center more than I thought, more than the Bears I've ever been, I thought last year. They were under center quite a bit, and I think he's going to add that. They were in a lot of 12 personnel with 2 tight ends, a running back with the wing, and they were doing really good. But as far as specifically with Justin, all you really would do with them. Go ahead.
What's the advantage of being under center for a quarterback that's a dual threat? What do you gain there instead of being in shotgun? What's the look?
Well, to me, if you have a dual threat guy, you really you limit yourself when you put him under center. So a dual threat guy is better in a shotgun, because then you can get a read action and get numbers advantages in the box. And all you have to do is add a read, and that's a guy you don't have to block.
To your point, so I do agree with that, but I also would like to counter that. I think if you're under center, you kind of freeze the left side and the right side of the defense potentially, because now your safeties and your perimeter, they don't really know which way to go. Is this guy going to roll out left? Is this guy going to roll out right? Is he going to step back in the pocket? Which way is he going to do? So at least one side you're containing and freezing. So I mean, you could potentially send the house if you want to, but that's not advised to do every single time. So under center, for me, it would make more sense to not show your cards that, hey, we are, and to your point, yes, I could see exactly where shotgun, you would have that more mobility, that open free space to, take off and whatever. But if you're looking to freeze people and to not make them come left or right, or you don't know which way the quarterback's going, you see my point with that. So I would almost like to see a little bit more under center from Fields. I think it would be better, but you can,
what, to your point. So if you have the running back at a sidecar and the quarterback in the shotgun, they know one of those guys is, you still have a threat to run either side of the ball. You get what I'm saying? Because he can give, he can keep, or you can. So you can act like you could do a fake to the running back and pull a lineman, and now you got numbers again. And they don't know. Really, the shotgun has gotten to a point where you really can attack both sides in the running game. Yeah. I don't think I've watched film a lot on Justin. I don't think he's is disciplined in his dropbacks and his footwork.
Okay.
So I think that he wouldn't be necessarily a good under center guy.
Maybe this
I
is
I don't know. I'm just giving you my
yeah,
opinion. You know
absolutely. Yeah.
that I don't think that he would be that good. And if you're going to have him under center, you're going to have to boot him. But then you're taking away his running threat out of the run game. Is my point of being in shotgun.
Well, yeah, and to your point, Waldron maybe can
Mhm.
help him out with that footwork. I don't know what that looks like if he potentially did that with Gino. Why his numbers look so much better, and when his first year numbers, as far as release rate, that speed picked up. It spiked up in year 2, where he shortened it by almost over a second. So he went from like 3 to 2, and that's when I was interviewing. You know, alumni Jim Miller, quarterback Jim Miller, he was always talking about how Fields holds onto the ball too long, and he needs to have somebody
He
that holds
does.
him accountable to just sit there with a whistle. And I'm like, how about a paintball machine too? And he goes, that's a little too aggressive. You need to settle down.
Yeah.
But he's like, blow the whistle, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, release. Somebody they got to work on that, and whatever reason they didn't work on that. Hopefully, I don't know what that's going to look like with the quarterback coach. We'll get into that a little bit. So let's stick a pin in this. Let's get this off really quick. Now that Waldron is with us, potentially, if he's going to, add to the development of Fields and maximize him and bring something out, because we have already the Bears, as in we have already came out on record and said they have not done Fields the justice that they could have. They did not put him in the proper growth. They didn't give him enough light, enough water, enough food, whatever. So now they're trying to do that with the Waldron. Now, what's good about Waldron is he checks a lot of their boxes, and they do like the fact that he's worked under Bill Belichick, Sean McVay, and Pete Carroll. Those around the league all like Waldron as a smart, innovative, and versatile type coach, and he's been known to shred some defenses. I've watched some videos and stuff. I'm sure you've watched a lot more film than I have on the guy, but he can adapt his offense to fits to the strength of the personnel. So with that being said, is if he adapts to the strength of his personnel, and you have Fields on the field, and he's day one starter for us in 24, what would you say he would need to do in order to play to Fields' strengths?
Yeah, I mean, I know we disagree on this. I don't think Fields is going to be here, but if he has that kind of player, I would suspect that you are going to see probably a lot more shotgun and things like that, because it plays to Justin's strength, because he's not a particularly good processor. So having him in an under center doing a drop back, you're counting on his processing a little more. And while he's doing the drop, you're taking less time. You're giving him a little less time doing the drop back. Shotgun, you do your little drop back, and you set up, and you're able to read. I just think that if the Bears keep Justin, which I don't know, man, I can't see it, but I think that he'll more incorporate him into the run game a little better.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I'm saying. I haven't seen him do a lot of that on film, and maybe it's because he doesn't have a guy. But if you're going to, if just in general, if you're going to keep a player like Justin Fields, you've got to really follow the Lamar Jackson playbook with that, and do similar things the Ravens. So if you watch the Ravens this weekend, if you're going to keep Justin Fields, that's the blueprint of what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's the blueprint, and that's why I'm telling you. I think style wise, that's why what makes me think that they're really leaning toward. I don't know what they're going to do. Neither do you, right? We don't know.
No, I have no idea.
But,
I'm indifferent. I'm clueless because everything that Poles has done, he's pulled the rug right up from underneath me, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
I seriously don't care what they do either. Yeah. I'm just giving my opinion. Like, I'm gonna roll with the Bears no matter what happens.
Yeah.
But I just in the tea leaves that I'm reading, the stuff that I'm seeing tells me that they're ready to move on from Justin. I think at some point when they're really certain down the line they're gonna end up trading him before the draft, and that'll lock in. We'll know when that domino falls. You know what I mean? If they trade him, we'll know. And just for the record, this does not mean that I'm shitting on Justin Fields or not. I not like him. I think he's a talented quarterback. I think he's going to play in the NFL. I just don't think the way he was not drafted by Ryan Poles. He was not picked by Eberflus. He was not. I just think the Bears want a guy more like what they see as a quarterback. It's not saying Justin's bad, and this isn't high school. This isn't high school where you say, "Oh, whoever's on your team, whoever shows up, we're keeping them." No, this is the NFL. You go get your guy. I think they've seen the writing on the wall. That's just my opinion, but I think as far as using him to answer your question, I think you're going to see a lot more run game, a lot more moving pocket, things that Justin does well. Hopefully, the thing under center that I think Justin will excel at is if they can put in play action, a little more play action for him.
Yeah,
and that way it's just it simplifies his reads, and it's anyway. I'm just rambling on now.
No, you're good, Coach Scarbs. And you know what? We appreciate your skill set. That's why we have you on here, because we really appreciate your knowledge of the game and what it means, the X's and O's. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Everybody out at YouTube land, please do not forget to click the like button and subscribe. It's fast, it's easy, and it's fun. Just hit that like and subscribe and follow us in all of our great content with guys like Coach Scarbs. So the Bears promised a wide range search for their next offense coordinator, right? And they didn't hire someone that didn't just fit one option, but multiple. So they interviewed a run game savant, Greg Roman, very good, who is a clear fit for Fields, right? They met with
I would have thought they were keeping Fields definitely if they would have hired him.
Right. And then they met with USC senior offensive analyst Cliff Kingsbury, which I was high on, who coached Williams this past season. Neither got the gig. I mean, hiring Waldron, the Bears didn't tip their hand in what they were doing. I mean, some people see it. They're reading the tea leaves, like you said, but at this point, you could go in either direction. Waldron's offensive roots came from the Shanahan tree, a scheme created by famed Mike Shanahan that had been adapted
and everyone always forgets him. It was him and Gary Kubiak.
Yeah, Kubes. Yep. Shout out to Kubes. And molded by Kyle Shanahan, McVay, Mike McDaniel, and others. And the Waldron hire doesn't hint at the Bears' big plan moving forward either. Either way, you could say that Fields worked in a similar system last season under Luke Getsy, but Getsy's offense wasn't a pure Shanahan tree attack. It had RPO influences from his time in college and never delivered on what Eberflus hoped it would be when he hired him away from the Green Bay Packers. Fields' time in Getsy's offense wasn't a factor in the decision to hire Waldron at all. The same can be said of Williams' current work with Coach Rich Scangarello, whom he met at QB Collective, which Fields works for, and so does Williams. They're both, basically all of them do all the higher end QBs across the nation. They're all with QB Collective. The QB Collective. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just saying my personal guy that I think is the best in the country is Jeff Christensen, and he works with Patty Mahomes and quite a few of the other elite quarterbacks. But yes, I'm familiar with both groups, and they're both really good groups. I just wanted to say, that he doesn't get like all the guys, but between him and Christensen they got almost all of them.
And you know what? The QB Collective is a pro style invitational quarterback camp for elite high school prospects. It's run by Mike Shanahan, list of Kyle Shanahan, McVay, McDaniel, LaFleur. Waldron, Scangelo, and others as coaches. But Fields has also worked with the QB collective while he was in high school. So Williams doesn't really have a leg up there. I mean, he's basically, if you look at Fields, he's on the front cover of their website. So, I mean, he's like their poster child. Cole said he would likely take the quarterback decision down to the wire. And I kind of feel like that's what it's got to be like in order to hold your hand when it comes to the draft and whatnot. I mean, I'm really excited to see which way he breaks in that. And quite honestly, I did not know, and I don't know too many people that were like, oh yeah, I knew that was going to go down, where he basically, like we talked about earlier, Dave, he just fleeced Carolina. He got DJ Moore first rounds, second rounds. I mean, all the way going through 2025. He's still not done yet. He's still got another. Now, potentially, if he trades back in this draft, he could turn one draft pick into 10 draft picks and potentially 2 players. Whoever it would be, the player to be named this year plus DJ Moore. I don't
think you'll get that kind of haul, but I think that they definitely could get a haul trading down. I'm telling you, Brandon,
you're going to get a haul last year. I didn't think they were going to get a haul this year. I mean, it just all depends on what the need is.
Last year they were definitely trading down. This year, right. I think that, and plus the kid. Okay, so I'll put it in perspective for you.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just telling you what the tea leaves, what the likelihood of this is.
Yep.
The kid that's coming out this year would have been the number 1 draft pick last year. He would have been the number 1 pick last year. If they had Stroud and all these guys, he would have been the number 1 pick regardless. Now the Bears probably would have traded down because they still didn't know about Justin Fields. But my point is, when you get in a position like all the things you said, changing the offensive coordinator, you're going to start fresh and everything. To me, it just makes more sense that they're going to take this guy at number 1. He is I'll put it in another way. As special as Justin is as a runner, this guy is as special as with his passing skill set. And like I said, I don't care either way, but I think that carries a lot more weight, especially with the new coordinator coming in and them really trying to get it right. I think that they viewed it when the season was over that there were 2 main problems with the offense. One was Luke Getsy. Everyone knows that. Number 2 is I think that they think that maybe Justin doesn't fit what they want. And like I said, I'm done beating a dead horse. I apologize. I'm just letting you know that us trying to figure out what they may do with Justin is kind of counterproductive because I don't think we know yet, and I don't think we're going to know for quite a while. We could speculate. I think that he'll fit in. And yes, Mr. Waldron, he's smart enough to realize what he has and to build an offense around it. To answer your question,
and anybody that he has too, basically he's going to do that with, and that's why they got him. That's why he's looked at highly, and we'll see what happens with that. But in order to get an actual accurate assessment of Fields, you have to look at the full body of work, because right now you're looking at a leaky roof. Well, the foundation is just basically hitting the ground. They never built a foundation for the kid. He only had 2 years as a quarterback in high school, 3 years in college, 5 years total. So you go look at a kid like and none of it was NFL yet, but you go look at a kid like Bo Nix, who has 5 years already in college. That's what Justin Fields has had his whole entire football career of being a quarterback. So they don't even have that in there yet. So shame on them for not giving him all the tools that he needed. And he only had 1 solid target this year. You already see the numbers were a lot better this year, even with Luke Getsy and his 5 billion freaking wide receiver screens. I digress. I won't get into that anymore. I think
are we arguing the merit? We argue with the merits of who's better, Fields or Williams. I'm not. Hey, you know what? Justin's a good football player, but I will add this.
No, I don't even think that we were going in that direction at all. At all.
No. I was joking around.
Yeah.
I'm saying we're having a laugh. Like you're like saying, hey, you know what? That's all fine and good.
I'm
but
a
I'm
USC
telling you,
guy, so for anybody to think that I'm arguing about Williams, but I'm also a Fields guy because Fields is my quarterback, and right now we're just talking about.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. If you're asking me, I think that Caleb Williams is a more talented player than Justin Fields.
Yeah, there you go.
At the quarterback position. Now, as an athlete, Justin Fields is a better athlete. So this is what the juggling is going. Yeah, this is what the juggling. This is what the juggling is going to be. You know, and this is what Ryan Poles is going to. But I'm telling you right now, man, you don't. You're. So I was watching. I forgot another show I was watching with some other guys, and I know we're not supposed to do that, but I'm sorry, it's where I got it. And they had talked to 7, and we're going to end this after this. I'm not going to talk about this part no more, but they were talking to 7 general managers, and all 7 anonymously said that they would trade Justin and they would draft and I'm in a group with, don't kill me, I'm in a group with other guys who are Packer fans, and I did a little poll with our group, and I said, seriously, for you guys, what would be the worst case scenario? And they go, to a man, they were like, we don't want you guys getting Caleb Williams. They're like, we're okay with Justin Fields. The other people in the division kind of fear that we're going to take this guy. So that tells me, I think that, I don't know, man, just the tea leaves I've been hearing and reading.
I mean, they're judging an unfinished product, and so you can do that all day long and poke holes in it, but the kid's still a kid, and he's going to be developed to wherever he goes. I wish him the best. Hopefully it's with us. Because
he's coming here, dude. What do you mean wherever he goes? He's coming here, I'm telling you.
I'm talking about Fields.
Yeah. I was going to say he's an unfinished product. With you.
Yeah.
I don't think he's unfinished. I think you know exactly what he is.
I think the reason why I brought you on the show is because you're a coach and you know how important it is to have a good coach and what a good coach can actually do for somebody and point them in the right direction. If you have a coach like Getsy that does not call plays towards your to your skill set, then you are actually tearing apart the foundation that this kid's trying to build. And you can't really judge him on that. So now you give him Waldron, see what he's got. He's still under the contract. It's not really going to hurt anything, you know.
That's where it hurts you because you're missing out on
continuity. I mean, what better way to keep continuity and go ahead and keep Eberflus and go ahead and keep Fields? You know what I mean?
I have to agree with you on something. We all agree Luke Getsy was not optimal as an offensive coach, right?
Yeah.
Yep. We are not. So anyway, like I said, I'm not going to argue with you over the keeping or not because we don't know. We can all have opinions, and you know what? I'll be happy either way that they do. But you're right about what you're saying. But even more so, I think this is where I think you're missing the boat. I think they do know what Justin Fields is. I think I know what he is, and I think that they have to now decide: do they want to deal with that going forward, or do they want to start fresh completely and reset the whole quarterback thing?
Hey, I knew who Gino looked like when I saw him with the Jets forever, and then he finally moved over to Seattle, and I'm like, you guys are crazy. You guys are, you're year one over there. I was like, no. And then I looked him at fantasy football, and I says, why is he getting picked and drafted this high? I'm like, this is crazy. Like, it's Gino. He's going to fall off. And he never did. And what was the change of all that? Proper coaching under a right direction, under the right helm. And if he can do that late in his career, Fields can do that this early in his career. So let's see what happens. But Friday, I'm going to argue against today's argument because I create content and that's what we do. I try to stay on topic, but it doesn't always work because
I apologize. I got you off topic, man. My bad.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, let's get back to the Waldron stuff, man.
Yeah. You're good.
I think he's going to. I think he's going to do really well with whoever is there.
Yeah. I mean, but
And you're right.
In the end, the grand scheme of things, the Bears picked up the best man available for the job in Waldron, a guy who is only available because Pete Carroll stepped down as Seahawks head coach. I mean, man, I tell you what, you as a great coach, a well-known coach, think about these coaches that are dropping, man. Unbelievable. I mean, it's sad,
it's a changing of the guard. It's a changing of the guard from the old school to the new school guys.
But there is some good color coming out in these coaches. I mean, look at Campbell over there with the Lions. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Great
way
that this guy's got them playing, and then AP with the Raiders. So I feel good. And then the kid down in Houston, the middle linebacker that used to play for
DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah, for the Niners and the Browns. Man, I really like that guy over there, and rightfully so. I think they like somebody that's worked up in the ranks. They still know them. They're not super old. I mean, again, Waldron, 44 years old. Hey, man, he's younger than the both of us right here. So I mean, it's kind of crazy for him to be in this position. I think it's kind of cool, and he's not far away. They said this morning on the radio, I was listening to 670 The Score, and Dave was saying on 670 The Score, David Haw, he said that if Luke Getsy would have stayed with the Bears one more year, he would have had the longest tenure out of offensive coordinator. That to me says, yeah, that does not happen a whole lot in today's NFL. If you're a good offensive coordinator, you move on to head coach. If not, it's how you doing, keep it moving. You know what I mean? You don't last long.
All the coaches are looking for the next job. And if you don't, until you become a head, the died and gone to heaven is becoming the head coach of an NFL team. Once you're there, now you're in the elite group. But every coach coaching in America is trying to move up to that. If I'm a grad assistant, I'm looking for that position job. If I'm a position guy, I'm looking for the coordinator job. If I'm a coordinator, I'm looking for the head coach on that level. If I'm the head coach at college, I'm looking for a head coach on the NFL. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, man. And you're right. And a lot of the young guys have worked themselves up now, and we're seeing it's time for a new generation of coaches. There's been a massive changing of the guard with Pete leaving, with Belichick. Well, we'll see where he lands, but Belichick allegedly leaving, then Nick Saban in college. There's been a lot, and there's a lot of young up and coming guys.
Where do you think Belichick's going to go, bro?
I've been hearing a lot of buzz to Atlanta.
Okay.
I've been hearing a lot of Atlanta buzz.
I kind of feel that way.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of buzz that Atlanta would be a place. I haven't heard of any other places. I can tell you this. I think there's a really good chance that Jim Harbaugh is going to be at the Chargers.
Really?
I think it's a really good shot.
Oh, man, that kills me because, oh, man, the Chargers, unbelievable. Everything comes around full circle, doesn't it?
Full circle, man.
And all the hard work that Waldron's done in such a short time. I mean, he was a tight ends coach, a wide receivers coach, offensive line coach, quarterbacks coach. He knows how to teach his scheme to each position group. And he arrives in Chicago with massive responsibility. Got to continue to mold Fields into a top-tier starting quarterback or develop Williams into a franchise quarterback. The Bears have spent 3+ decades searching for somebody like that. And Waldron wasn't hired with a quarterback in mind, but he'll undoubtedly play an important role in evaluation the options of the monumental decision that follows, and hopefully he can bring in a good quarterback coach. So we put a pin in it earlier, and I've got to unpin this and ask you this question. How important is a quarterback's coach, and what is a quarterback's coach's responsibility?
There you go. So this is really good. So to me, a quarterback coach is very important because it's probably the worst coached position in all of football on every level. Seriously.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think the difference. So I did this at mini camp when I had a discussion with one of the guys at Windy City Gridiron. So a lot of people don't know this, that there's a difference between a quarterback coach and a quarterback trainer.
Oh, wow.
So when we were we were discussing earlier with your guys, what's their name, the quarterback organization you were talking about earlier?
Oh yeah, the quarterback QB Collective.
QB Collective, exactly.
Yes,
so those are quarterback trainers.
I didn't even know.
And they train. Well, this is what, because everyone everyone says it's a quarterback coach. That's not a quarterback coach.
Gotcha.
A quarterback coach in the system works with the quarterback each week. You work on whatever your cadence are. You work on the details in practice. You coach the drills in practice that are specific to your scheme you're running. You understand?
Plays?
Like you
work
work
over each play in the playbook.
Yes.
Okay.
And a quarterback coach sits with the quarterbacks in the quarterback room, and they say, when we call slants, when we call whatever they call it, when we call this is what we're looking for. If we get this look, this is how we want you to read it. This is how we want you to do your progression. Yeah. And they go through all these plays, and they go in the offense, and they go over every play, and they're like, this is the progression against this. This is the progression against this. This is what we're going to do in this situation. So this week, our third down package, we're going to run it. We're going to talk about the third down progression on every play that we have in the third and long progression. And they do that in every situation for the week.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so now, this is what people don't understand. It's so much time. People are like, oh, what do you do when you sit and you meet for 8 hours, 6 hours a day at football? Well, you go practice, and you come in and you do this as the quarterbacks. You sit and you watch film and say, hey, when team B is when we come out in a 3-by-1, team B does this coverage all the time. So this is probably the probability of what's going to be open is going to be this when we call this play against that in this situation.
So your role evolves as the season progresses. When we are looking at the mini camps and all of that, we're going over the attention to detail. As we get into the future weeks, say, for instance, everything looks good with the Packers. They haven't made any adjustments. We're going to roll off of last year's tape, off the 2 games where they beat us, and we're going to say, this is what these players do in this situation. When we call this play, this is what they look at and all of that. Is that what we're looking at, strategies?
But one correction I have to do for you.
What you got?
Is it's not off of last year's tape. It's off of, you watch the whole, you do that. Yes, you do that too. But you take, so say we play them in week 6, right?
Yeah.
So you go back, I'm just giving a scenario. You play them in week 6, you go back and you get all their games the first 5 weeks, and you look for something similar that you run 3-by-1, 2-by-2, and you break down how they play different surfaces and what coverages and different things that they that they play. So you scout them. Yes, you can look, but last year. You're not even the same people on the team most of the time.
Yeah.
So you don't look. You scout from the year before, and you go back as far as you want to with that coordinator or whoever's calling the plays on defense.
Yeah, my point was just week 1 is that you don't have any tape for this year, so you would ultimately have to, look back at last year. No, you don't.
But yes, you're correct. You're correct on that. But yeah, no, you're correct on that. But like, say if they change the defensive coordinator, if they change the defense coordinator, you're going to have to go find the team that he was on the year before and see what they did. And to give you no one knows exactly what everybody's going to do, but you get a feel for tendencies and what they want to do.
Well, and then also to your point, you're going to be spending a lot of time with that QB coach. From what you're saying, the whole layout is, would you say that you spend more time with your QB coach than you do with your offense coordinator and your head coach?
this is just a general rule in football, and I'm never coached on the NFL level, so
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
going off of what
Yeah.
I've heard through other coaches that your position coaches on all levels of football,
Yeah.
you spend more time with your position coach than you do with coordinators, head coach, whatever.
Okay.
So if I'm a running back in the room or whatever, if I'm in
Yeah.
the running back room, I'm spending time with a lot of time with the running backs and the running back coach.
Yeah.
I'm spending more time with him than I am with the any other collective on the team.
Well, it's kind of
So
interesting when they have those conversations with you as a player, because they're like, okay, what position, blah, 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 left tackle, special teams, whatever. Is there anything else? Well, I've always liked to get a look at tight end. They're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And they
yeah,
gave me that look. Like, are you sure? Like, okay. So you are going to run
yeah.
with the receivers and you are going to line up with the offensive linemen. I'm like, wow. Can I take that back? Because I cannot run like these wide receivers. I don't have the air. I don't have the, there's no way.
All you tackles want to play tight end, man. It's so funny.
So
you guys think, I could run, I could be a tight end. Yeah. Okay.
I can catch that ball, the Urlacher. I mean, come on. In choosing the Bears over the New Orleans Saints and the other potential landing spots for Waldron, he decided to become the central figure in this regime's attempt to transform the Bears from a bad tragedy film, into a perennial contender with an answer at under center. And I mean, I'll get into this in just 1 second, but the Bears didn't hire Waldron because he'd be a good fit with Fields or the best teacher for Williams. They hired him because of his reputation, says he'll succeed at going down at whatever road they choose. So they had to come up with something, innovative and come up with something to just, put somebody, under center at the offensive coordinator position, so. Wasn't exactly the guy that I wanted. I know it was the guy that you wanted, and I have to give you kudos for that. And shout out to you for circling that name.
I appreciate that, man. But what I was going to tell you that I think one thing you said, and you said a couple good points there. I'm trying to remember them, but the one that sticks out to me is I don't think they would have brung him in if they didn't think he could coach either guy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think that whatever direction they try to go in,
yeah, right.
I think that they wouldn't have brung him in if he couldn't fit one or the other. I think he can fit both, and I think that he gives them flexibility. Like you said, the Bears aren't going to tip their hand.
No.
I don't think. I think we'll know. Maybe. I think it'll be settled about 2 weeks before the draft starts. And you know what? I'm going to tell you this too. They can have. This is another point that I want to point out really quick.
Please do.
They have deals already set in place if they're going to move Justin. So what I mean by that is, they can tell. I'm just using fictitious teams here, so please understand my point, not who it is. So say the Giants, or I'll use the Falcons for better. So the Falcons, they'll tell the Falcons, they're like, hey, would you be interested in Justin Fields? And the Falcons will be like, yeah, sure. Well, we haven't made up our minds yet, but if we trade Justin, let's hammer out a deal. And so what maybe will happen is an hour before the draft, they'll call Atlanta and be like, hey, remember that deal we discussed? You want to go? We want to have a go on that? And they'll do it the day of the draft or a couple hours before or something.
Wow.
So it'll be in place. You know what I'm saying? It'll be in place until the Bears are getting ready until the draft's about to start. And then they'll call. That's how long they can put it off.
Okay, I gotcha. Hey, just a couple really quick, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, follow our YouTube channel on all of our content, and be a friend, tell a friend about us. We love you guys. Thanks for following us. One Facebook user says, to be honest with you, I think that was a great pick up at OC. I'm thinking what he did with Geno Smith he could actually do that same thing for Fields and Badgett. Now that's a wild card right there, and I'm not
could.
sure we want to go down that.
He could. Tyson Badgett is a nice backup quarterback. We should be happy we have we should be happy we have a nice backup quarterback. Most teams don't.
Yeah, exactly. Far as drafting a QB, there's absolutely no need to snag one in this draft with 25. Build our depth at our line of scrimmage. If we was to,
you can do that and draft a quarterback. But okay,
if we was to actually draft a quarterback, splurge on Archie Manning in 2026. Somebody's a big fan.
We don't even know if Archie Manning's good yet. He ain't even starting as a college team, so I don't know. I'm not saying he's not, but we don't even know. Like, how do you even know he's going to be good?
Kid probably picked up a football before he picked up a bottle. You know.
Well, yeah. I mean, sure. His last name's Manning. Right. You know, but that doesn't mean that he's sworn to be good. I mean, he may be good. What if he sucks? Yeah. You know, they had one brother of the Manning brothers who wasn't very good. So, you know, when they had Cooper had to play wide receiver. How about that?
Well, I mean, and I think that to your point, that's why a lot of people are looking at Marvin Harrison Jr. because they remember his father playing as well as he did, and there's that
but he's special on his own, though. You can tell he's a dude on his own.
DK Metcalf's dad, he played for the Bears, and now you see DK Metcalf shining in Seattle. You look at Rice, Jerry Rice's son, plays for USC. Not your favorite college, but you know, who knows
DNA matters. DNA matters. And I was going to tell you, Brandon, I was watching his tape the other day when I was doing some work on Caleb Williams.
Yeah,
he's going to be a dude, man. He'd be a good guy to get in the second round, man. I watch. So we're going to go on a little Jerry Rice Jr. tangent here for my USC guys.
Oh, please.
That guy right there.
Yeah,
boy, he has a nice little knack. He has a good, and I don't expect anything less from Jerry Rice's son. He's probably worked with him, but boy, is he really impressive on his understanding of wide receiver play. When you watch him play, he pays attention. He's got great details, and he's a dude, man. I'm telling you right now, because the wide receivers are so high in this draft, he's going to get slept on a lot.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get. So do you remember when Amon-Ra St. Brown came out, me and you and Lester, I think we're having a conversation. And I'm like, I hope the Bears get him. And they're like, everyone's looking at his measurables like, he's only a 4.5 guy. I'm like, but dude, when you watch him on tape, he's a dude. Yeah. And I was like, he was my favorite receiver in that draft, and he went in the third round. And look at him now; he's all first team All Pro.
Garbs, what was it? Forte. I think it might have been. Yeah, it was Forte. He didn't have amazing 40 speed, but he had football speed. I mean, once he got the ball, and he was
Matt Forte had decent speed.
Decent, yes, but decent. So
he wasn't a blazer,
No, but football, when he was on the football field, his football speed is unbelievable. That's the same way with Jerry Rice. He wasn't a blazer, but I mean, he knew how to get that extra inch. He knew how to get that extra inch out of every play, tuck, duck, and get out of the way.
It's called having a feel for the position.
Oh man, your spidey senses are tingling. Yeah, I love it. I mean, that's what I loved about Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, man. All the greats, he knew how to get rid of the football, and that's one thing that bothers me about Fields is we cannot throw the ball away. So if Waldron can do one thing, if he could teach Fields how to throw the ball away, I will be elated. I will jump up. I will call you, Dave. I will say, he did it. Woo! I'll get so excited, you know.
Yeah, he's going to look good in Atlanta.
Jeez. Well, to your point, we have another Facebook user that says, but the Bears are drafting Caleb Williams, so why speculate on Fields? Listen,
that was my point too, by the way, but it's all good.
Yeah, but we don't know.
We
think we know, but we don't know. So until then, we have nothing but speculation. So
right.
And you know what? Yeah. And then when it happens in April 26th, I believe, there's a bunch of, hey, Facebook user, hey, Dave Scarborough's, please come on, because there is a
April
episode
25th.
called I Told You So. I told you so.
hey, if they keep Fields, I will come out and you can tell me you told me so. and I will owe you a coffee or soda or something.
Yeah, we still got to get up for that, man. What were you gonna say right before I cut you off?
So I wanted, it's okay because I do the same thing. I'm sorry, I cut you off all the time, Brandon. I apologize.
It's all good.
I was going to riff on the speed thing. What people don't understand is when you see these 40 times, these tracks times, and do you know why Bo Jackson was so special and could run as fast, fast with football? His body, the way his body, some guys are built where the pads, people don't understand. You're putting on 20, 30 pounds of pads.
Yeah.
And so when that slows you down, because you're carrying some guys, the way their body is built, they're strong enough to maintain the speed that they run without pads. Or just actually they're a little faster because they have something resisting and their power comes out more. You understand what I'm saying? Like the core power, like some dudes, like some horses can carry weight better than another horse or whatever. It's the same principle.
What was that Disney movie that came out about based on a true story of an NFL player for the Jets? And he changed his pads. He was working in a bar and he tried out for the team.
Oh, you're talking about Vince Papale, who played for the Eagles.
Didn't he change his pads to smaller pads and he ran faster or something like that?
Well, he did. He lightened his pads, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. A lot of guys, when they put that 20-pound helmet on, or 10 pounds, not 20 pounds, when they put that 10, 15-pound helmet on, it does something. Either you can you have more power. Some people slow down. There's guys, I cannot tell you how many guys I've seen that have been like a 4.4 guy, and they put on pads and they look like they're running 4.6 on the field. I can't tell you how many 4.6 guys I've seen, and you watch them on the field, and it's like, there's no way that dude's running 4.6.
But you know what else happens? You know what else happens when you get smaller shoulder pads, Dave? I'll tell you what happens.
Or just
my middle linebacker gave me smaller shoulder pads, and my peripheral vision, as far as a left tackle moving laterally and everything, it's a world of difference. And he goes, "Dude, you're 6'6". Who's going to hit your shoulder pads up that high?"
Nobody.
They're just in your way. You might as well not even wear them, but you have to. So try these smaller ones on. I did. Oh my God, I played so much better after that,
because you could see and you could feel, it was a different feel because you didn't have a big box on your shoulders. You had like your shoulders, you could look and see, you know? So anyway, that was my take on the speed.
No, I appreciate it, man. And you know what? Did you catch not Fields, Rice Jr. speed, by the way?
I don't know what he ran. I'm looking. It'll be interesting to watch the pro day stuff to see what he runs. I can't wait for the combine and all that.
Oh, here's a great question by a Facebook user, probably for you. If they draft Williams, is it an automatic Fields trade? That's a good question.
Yes, it is.
It is an automatic,
because you're not going to. There's no purpose of you carrying him if you don't. You want to give value. And you know what? That's a good question, because could they? They could, but I don't think, especially with the locker room, you have to get rid of one queen before the other queen comes. In the animal kingdom sense, the beehive gets rid of the old queen before the new queen comes.
Well, I will tell you this much. Jim Miller did bring up a good point, and this was weeks ago. This was, I think, Detroit was playing a Monday night game, and we were at the old Mongo's for a podcast. I'll have to invite you to one of the live podcasts out by you.
Sure.
It's pretty cool. They pay us, they give us food and drink. It's a good time. And I love live because you get that, in the face experience. It's really cool. But one thing that Jim Miller said was he saw something. Was it the Packers or the Jets? Man, I wish he was here right now. I could call him up, but I think he's in the middle. But they had a first
just
round.
Go ahead.
He's probably in the middle of a Siri radio like interview or
right,
something.
Right.
But no, he was saying like there was a quarterback, and then they drafted another quarterback, and it was like built-in competition or whatever. It worked good for them. I forgot.
Well, that's what the Packers do. The Packers,
yes.
Yeah, that's what the Packers do. They draft their guy, sit the other guy, and that's not a bad dude. If I just would be worried about fracturing the locker room, because now what if Justin plays well? Now you have him playing well. You're not going to pick up his contract. Now the locker room is going to be splintered. You know what I mean?
Well, it almost is, dude. You kind of get that feel already that it might potentially be, because here's the deal.
They could.
Everybody loves Fields. All the players are oohing about
That's what
Fields.
I'm saying.
The coaches, everybody.
Well, wait, Brandon, hold on. Time out, Brandon. What do you think his teammates are going to say?
Yeah, that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
That's what I'm. Wait, I was going to say his teammates are not going to sit there and go, "Well, Justin sucks. We should get rid of him." No one's going to say that. They're all going to say, "Hey, I love that guy. He's a great leader. We should keep him." What do you think they're going to say? Would you want to be on a team with the guy who threw you under the bus? No, and the other guys are watching. Yeah.
The last guy to do that was to the GOAT against Tom Brady, and he was his last line of defense to protect him, and he ended up having choppers chase him as he had his shirt off and he was running down the street, and all kinds of crazy was happening. So you don't want to be that guy, dude. You don't want to be that guy. But
exposing yourself in a hot tub in Dubai, I don't know. You don't want to be that guy.
Speaking of being the guy, here's what I want to show you really quick.
Okay. Oh, that's the man right there, buddy. I like him. He's such a good kid, man.
This is minutes after he was drafted. This was the look on his face when you have been selected in the first round by the Chicago Bears. That's his look.
I'm going to tell you he was probably pissed off because he felt he probably should have went in the number 1 or number 2.
So you think that's my
take on it.
Well, give me your take on this picture, because everybody says I want a leader that, Fields doesn't have that look. He's not that dog.
That is absolutely not true, because out of all the other things, out of the things that I understand, that's his strength. These are the things that I'm worried about with Caleb Williams. Is that we don't know what his character is. We don't know if his teammates really bond with him or support him. Justin has been there. Everything you hear about Justin Fields is that he is a good teammate and that his teammates love him. I don't hear anyone else talking bad about his leadership. Dude, did you see the video the other day when all the speculation was going on? He's the only guy at Hallis Hall. He's busting his ass at Hallis Hall the other day.
Yeah, he's working out with the weights and all that. I thought that was really cool. I mean, the guy, you gotta get hats off to him. He's always working on his physique. He's a vegan.
That's what I'm saying. I have no
Chicago, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't rock with the vegan stuff, but I'm telling you that the only thing he's not the greatest processor, man. And you know what? That's who he is. And I don't know if you can fix that.
Yeah, I don't either. Here's another one. Here's a picture. So you just saw a picture of him being drafted.
What are we going to Justin Fields photo album now?
Basically, I am. I actually have a picture of his dog. His dog's name is Uno.
Oh my God.
His jersey number is number 1.
Oh, good Lord.
His favorite quarterback is Cam Newton. I know a lot of.
All right, let's see your other. Let's see.
Here's a picture of him winning the national championship. You see that one up right there?
Yeah.
That's another look. He doesn't look overly excited.
Hold on, time out. Don't curse us with an Ohio State national champion. That was when they made it to the national championship, or that was after the national championship game. They lost probably.
And
because they never won.
Look at that. Look at that. That's the same guy. First 2.
Yeah.
Drafted, championship. sliding after a game in the Niners, the Niner game, the rain game. I was there. I just got so douched, man. I was entrenched. Socks were wet. Underwear was red. It was bad.
You know, Brandon, you can't help but
root
for the kid, but I don't see it working out in Chicago. I think he'll play in the NFL for a while, for a long time.
Yeah.
I just don't see it working out here. But that's my opinion. Yeah. I don't know shit. Just my opinion.
Either. I don't know.
I just don't think you can pass on what Caleb Williams could be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's.
I think they're not. I don't care either way. Like I said, if they keep Justin Fields, oh damn, we get a 6'3", 230-pound athletic quarterback who needs to be coached up a little more. Damn,
and that's who we wanted.
I don't want that. Yeah.
I mean, that's who we wanted, and now we finally got him. And to argue your point, we also, what we could get out of Justin Fields is if we keep him, is we could get a finished product of him after we give him.
So I'm going to ask you this. And we'll break it down to a simpler thing. And we're not discussing this, but since we're just on this thing, in your opinion, if Justin Fields reaches his ceiling and Caleb Williams reaches his ceiling, who's a better player?
I can't judge that yet. I mean, it's basically like
I'm telling you,
LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. They played in two different times, so it's really incomparable. Because I did see where what do you call it? My favorite quarterback for my favorite college, USC Williams, when we lost Jordan Addison and he went over to Minnesota, got drafted, there was a big drop in production with him not on the field, rightfully so. The prior year,
and man, come on, let's be serious. That USC offensive line was atrocious, bro.
It was atrocious, and so was the defense. But
he was still, he knew he had. Okay, so I was just having this discussion with somebody when I was watching the film on.
Did you ask that person who the wide receivers were 2 years ago before we had DJ Moore? There was a guy named Petrie or Peter or whatever. Where's that guy at in the NFL this year? I don't even know some of the receivers that he was.
He's not. I know who you're talking about. He's on one of the other teams. But my point is
on the bench, probably.
What my point is, with his defense being so horrendous, I think Caleb forced a lot of passes this year. I think he took a lot of chances because he knew that he couldn't. He knew he had to score 1,000 points, to try and be in a game because USC's defense sucked. But
yeah.
Can you tell? Go Irish, baby, go Irish.
I will tell you this much: I did not appreciate when the kid painted his fingernails and put "FU Notre Dame." I'm like, dude, you're going to put "FU Notre Dame" on your fingernails, you're going to ask for some heat, and they're going to circle that, and that's basically you got a problem there.
And they did. And they did. And the next year after they did, they took it to him the next year, but. This is what I would say on stuff like that when people
and crying in your mama's lap after they lose to Washington. You've got a lot of work to do, and I'm not sure
this is what
as psychological as far as a man,
Brandon,
he's ready for Chicago. He's got a lot of work.
Brandon,
not saying I don't like the kid.
Right, but those are valid points. Yeah. But Brandon, I'm going to put it to you like this.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you were 22 years old?
Yeah.
Do you remember some of the dumb shit that me and you have done when we were 22?
Yep.
Do you remember some of that most masculine things probably crying over and stuff when you're 22? Yeah, I do. I remember. And that's what you got to give this kid grace. He's not a chiseled veteran grown man. And I was one who was very critical of him doing that. But the more I thought about it, being a dad, you're a dad. Being a dad, you understand your kids, they're not adults. You know what I mean? They're not adults. They don't have that adult capacity yet. So if you're going to do dumb shit, do it when you're young, right?
I do understand Caleb forcing the ball because of his defense and his receivers not being there quite as good as they were. I do understand that Fields has
holding the ball forever because no one's open yet.
I do understand Fields has held on to the ball as long because no one's open, just like Williams. Same problem. Yep. No receivers. Yep. And that's why to this point, I think people are still trying to give him a valid pass because let's see what he can do with more than one weapon. Let's see what he can do with an offensive coordinator. Let's see what he can do with a better offensive line,
Little side note.
Yeah.
Go look at all the places that Waldron was as an offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Every team he's been on had dudes at wide receiver.
Oh, really?
Go. Yeah, look at the Seattle. Look what Seattle did last year. What did Seattle do? They drafted him, the guy. What did they do the year when they got Metcalf? They got him a guy. The Bears are going to get him a wide receiver too. So we'll see. Like I said, we don't know what's going to go on. I will support whoever our quarterback is next year. I can see the argument for both. I can see the argument for both, and that's why I said I'm kind of leaning toward thinking that they're going to definitely draft the other kid, but I could see them keeping Justin Fields too.
Yeah, and what do you think right now is that they're looking at as far as quarterback coach?
I would love to see Greg Olsen, not the tight end. We all know that we shit on that deal. That was crazy.
Olsen
Mike Martz. Yeah. Mike Martz, give him the But Greg Olsen, the quarterback coach in Seattle, he was Waldron, the quarterback coach with Waldron. I suspect if he doesn't get another offensive coordinator opportunity, that he may be the leading candidate to come and be the quarterback coach. Very, very, very good quarterback coach, very experienced in the NFL.
Yeah, I think that would be good as far as the I think the tight end coach is already there. The offensive line coach you speak highly of. You said you think he's done a pretty good job.
I think Simo is a system guy. I think he's done a good job with. Well, I don't know. Let me rephrase this. So I don't know why you think I said that, but this is one thing I've been very critical. I watched the Bears, and I don't know who they're. It looked like a lot of times it looked like they didn't know what they were doing in protection, and I just got to be honest.
Oh, okay.
And there's times in that game where the Bears. I've never seen an NFL team with so many. Well, I've seen it before, bad teams, but the Bears had so many free runners and things that didn't make any sense. I forgot what the last game it was. I forgot who it was. Who was the last home game against?
Well, the last game that we had was against
the last home game.
So
the last home game.
Yeah.
What was the last home game? Can you look that up?
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
But anyway, I think it was the Falcons, maybe. I think it was the Falcons.
Why am I drawing a blank, man? Jeez.
Anyway, yeah. There was a point in that, I believe it was the Falcons game, where they were in empty. So the offensive line, you could hear on the audible, Justin was telling them, Lucas telling Lucas
Falcons.
Patrick, the center.
Yeah, Falcons.
Yeah. So he's telling Lucas that he's trying to get him aware that they had called maybe a slide to the left. Yes, thank you, Atlanta. Yeah, and the offensive line had it. You could tell out of the huddle call they had a slide to the left. The way Atlanta lined up, Justin was telling Lucas, be aware or something. He was calling Lucas Patrick's name, and Lucas Patrick, the center, was supposed to reset the line going to the right. They went to the left, and they had a free runner come in and sack Justin like that. And you could tell he was on the ground. He was saying, you could see him demonstrating with his hands. He's going, "Come on! I was trying to tell you, basically. You got to slide to the right." So I don't know, man. There's a lot of crazy things going on.
Yeah, and the hodgepodge of all those guys, going from center to guard and
the interior is a mess.
It's a lot.
The interior is a mess. They need to get the interior specifically. People, hey, we had this guy a long time ago, Chicago Bears, great guy. His name's Olin Kreutz.
Yep.
I don't know if you ever heard of him, but every great line every great offensive lineman, every great offensive line starts with the center.
Oh yeah,
because your center is your quarterback of your line. He makes a lot of the calls. Him and the quarterback work together on the protection. I mean that it's crazy. So, hey Brandon, I
who's the
have to
best
run.
center? Who's the best center in the draft this year?
Um, I haven't done a lot of work on it to be honest with you, so
Okay.
I could probably answer that later.
Yeah.
But I'm just now starting to get into getting guys that I'm looking at in the draft, and we'll see. But
Okay. Cool.
there's a couple from what I've heard. The best
Yeah.
center in the draft would be available in the second round
Yeah.
when
I
the
like
Bears are
that.
picking early in the second.
I like that center from Michigan. I can't think of his name right now, but I'd like him
I,
because it's.
I want no Wolverines on my team. Sorry,
Yeah.
no Wolverines. I
I
can.
hear
If you're, are you going to tell me we're going to draft a quarterback from USC and a offensive lineman from Michigan? I'm going to have to deal with that as a Notre Dame fan. Sorry, no. I can take one of them.
Yeah. Well, hey, you see what happened with the center that Notre Dame had for the Bears? He's actually starting for Baltimore, so I don't know what's going on with that.
Sam Mustafar is not as bad as Bear fans said he was. So it's all good. I mean, he's not good to me, but he's not horrible like the Bears fans made it sound like he was like a high school kid out there playing. And that's not. He wasn't very athletic, and they definitely could upgrade. He doesn't look too bad at the Ravens, though, does he?
I think we'd look a lot better if Fields could just actually hike the ball to himself, throw it to himself, and then catch it. I think we'd be in good shape right there if that could happen. We can't even have a guy hike the ball that's not going over his head, man. It's ridiculous. And to think about it, you've got a general manager, assistant general manager who both played offensive linemen, and we still don't have this in order. So, shame on them for not giving Fields the protection that he needs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it takes time to build a good offensive line. They'll get there. I
hope so, man. Hopefully it's this year.
Buddy, I got to run.
All right.
Hey, I love what you do, man. You're a good guy. You're passionate about the Bears, and you're passionate about the show. And I really hope it grows for you. You're really a good dude, and you know personally how I think of you, man.
You too, buddy. Thanks for answering the call, man.
Another question?
Just somebody said Drake Agent is the center in Michigan. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Yep. All right. Fuck Michigan. No, I'm joking.
All right, man. You have a great day.
Anyway, yes, I will get out of here, but I just wanted to tell you, man, please everybody support Brandon. He's a good guy. He really works hard at this, and this is thank you, Cheryl. He works hard and he really tries to get things done, and I really look forward to where his show is going. He's grown a lot since I've met him.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It means a lot.
Hey, bear down, baby. Bear down. No matter who our damn quarterback is in 2024 or whatever, beat the damn Packers. Let's beat Green Bay. Whoever said go blue, okay. All right. I'm sorry. I know. I'm a Notre Dame guy. All right. I'll talk to you guys.
All right. See you, buddy. Yeah, that was Dave. We've had him on the show before and last year, and he was great to have on. He gives us the X's and O's. He even brought out a board, a grease board, and drew on that, all the plays and whatever. So it was really cool. But yeah, thanks for let's answer a couple questions real quick, or make light of some comments. One thing I noticed about the Eagles is their interior line were all center, Dickerson, Kelsey, and Juergens. Is that a better way to go? Yeah, I mean, I think it's great to focus on your interior line. I think it's important to address and get yourself a really good center. It all starts in the middle, and then you got to work your way out, right? So you got to protect the middle and then work your way out. I think that's a great way to go. I do like that Drake Nugent from Michigan. As far as I'm concerned, when you're wearing the blue and the orange, we're all unified. We're on the same team, so it doesn't matter. But you gotta love his raw, personality for the team that he likes. Notre Dame and all that. And this person that is all about go blue. I think I have an idea who it is, but this stupid thing that says Facebook user, that's why I always ask people to check us out on YouTube. when you see the notification going on Facebook, jump over to YouTube, open up our page, like our show, and follow us along there and drop comments. It will show your name on there. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for a great show, and thanks for joining in with us. Have a great day, and bear down.